Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League, presented by WTRL. We are out on the Harrogate course for 2 laps. We've got the Women's East and the Men's East divisions out there today. We're going to be covering the A category up front, as well as many categories we possibly can cover across. We do got some crazy battles going on. This is very hotly contested as far as the Americas goes. The East has some of the top talents. Sarsa Pros Closet on the women's side versus the Finesse Rockets, I think, is one of the main stories. Dave, ladies are out on course. We're going to jump in with them pretty quickly here. But so far, what's the theme from the day that you would think, Dave? And I think you might be on mute, just as a heads up there, Dave.
Sorry, they're the hardest course that we race on, Nathan. No doubt about it. It's selective. All of those terms. It's brutal, and ultimately, we usually end up with a reduced group sprint that requires near perfect timing. So, this course, if you're going to watch a limited amount of e-racing, this would be the course I would send you right to because it's the best e-racing that you see happens on a course like this. We talked about last week in Innsbruck for round 3 of season 2 of the ZRL, about that being the toughest climb that we'd ever seen. Well, this is the toughest race that we have, I would have to say. So great race. And as you said, the field is incredibly strong. You've got that interesting situation where you have 2 very strong teams. But as we just saw in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Nathan, same scenario, 2 very strong teams battling. And ultimately, a couple other riders came along and took the top spots. But it's a team sport. So putting 3 riders in the top 10, you can pull that off. The thing is here, the other team might do it as well.
Real quickly here, I want to jump right on into the women's racing here because they're already out onto that 4% uphill gradient. This course gets right into the climbing right off the bat. And we again have something similar to what we saw in last week's race when it came to the uphills. Megan Rathwell on the front. 5'2" here coming from her currently. Cameron, her teammate, followed quickly up by Anna Russell. And I have a feeling that Sarsa Post Closet are wanting to take control of this race and just make it as difficult as they possibly can right from the get-go. I have a feeling they do not want to bring anybody to the line necessarily for a sprint if they don't have to, and to try and break as many legs as they possibly can, make it a race of attrition. Let the course do what it naturally does. Don't try and play any games with it. Don't try and do anything different other than what the course would call for if you just raced it the way that you wanted. If you just threw everything at it, and then let the cards fall where they may, with a little bit of tactics in there. But I think they don't want an easy race today. It looks like Sarsa Post that they came to put the hammer down.
Take the bull by the horns is the old expression here, which is absolutely the style of Sarsa Pros Closet. We've seen them attack. If you look, Richmond Reverse is about as close of a course as you're going to find in difficulty to what we've got here today in Harrogate. And this is exactly what they did there. Well, actually, that was even more. They sent 4 riders off the front that day. Here, they're just setting a very fast tempo, remembering that we have a lot of bonus points. I'm going to have to say that was a great change that they made, going from 5 deep to 10 deep. So the first woman over the line collecting those 10 points. So case in point here, we saw in a previous race today a team attack with 4 riders, just sending them off the front. They were about 1K from that first sprint when they were caught. If they had put 4 riders over the line, you get the 10, the 9, the 8, and the 7 points. So, that's pretty close to what a second place finish at the end of the race garners you. 40 for the win, 35 for second, 30 for third. So you end up talking about points quite a bit, but this is a really small group, all things considered. That's Claire Cameron, previous winner in the ZRL, that we're looking at in this season of the ZRL, that we're looking at the Canadian rider then in with Sisu. Oh, boy, they are really, really aggressive out here, considering this is 3K in, Nathan. Wow.
Yeah, and immediately, did you see what the pace set? The pace was initially set by Sarsa Polskog. I then saw Finesse Rockets, who are currently leading things out by 1 point in the series overall right now. Cryogen, Gallopin are there in third. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, Dude, they've been put on the back foot a little bit as I see a lot of their riders caught out a little bit. I think perhaps some of the riders were thinking this wasn't going to go anywhere. I can sit in a little bit. 5% gradient right off the bat really shows you a false to flat to a kind of climb can put you on the back foot pretty quickly and off the back out of the pack.
Yeah. If this is what the first 3.5K are going to be like, get ready for an absolute Donnybrook out here. Now, the Finesse Rockets, this is the team of Danielle Baker, Kaylee Boyle. So Danielle American, Kaylee from Canada. The rest of the riders, Catherine Monks, who's super strong, absolutely a rider for the future. Christy Nield, Paige Bolt, and Sarah Bishop make up this Finesse Rockets team. And this is the team. So they certainly stood up and said, hey, Sarah's the Pros Closet, you're not going to just walk all over season 2 here. And as we come into race 4, this is absolutely one of the most competitive battles that we have. Cryogen Gallopin, good job, ladies, sitting in third. But as we saw in the Premier League, Pio Otto, having won 3 in a row, garnering 20 points for each. They actually were penalized 1 point, so they were sitting at 59. But Nathan, they had a ride that took them from first, what looked like a dominating run for the rest of the season. All of a sudden, they might not be able to catch Canyon. They lost so many points with their ride yesterday. A lot of that came down to a couple of technicals that riders had, internet dropout, and then the riders that were left had to change gears and move from, rather than preem hunting, being there for the finish, and then they just timed the sprint wrong. So it can go sideways on you in one race out here. And that was something that I think a lot of folks didn't really realize what would happen if your team had one really bad day. Well, it pretty much takes you out of contention. This is Monks that we're in with now, the Finesse Rockets rider. Just the shape of this peloton shows me how hard they are racing out here. They're going to stay on the gas. And we haven't even seen the first sprint. And that, Nathan, is going to do even more damage the way this field is racing out here. This is as good as it gets. Really looking forward to what we've got this evening.
Yeah, I think Monks is one of the riders that I'd be, is in the back of my mind when I saw Stars to Pros Closet go to the front on a climb like that. Monks is a rider they do not want to take to the line. They want to put her on a back foot. They want to make sure that she has to waste a lot of matches, because if she comes to the line with a lot of these riders in Stars to Pros Closet, there's a reality also here that they do have a matching sprinter in Christina Grossman, I think. It might come down to if they can make it up and over the top of the climbs, if they can follow any of the moves, it'll be a Grossman versus Monks maybe coming to the line kind of situation. I think also, though, the plan with the 10 deep on points might be changed up a little bit from just a scratch race type situation. And a lot of these races are going to be set up specifically for what is your job today on the Queen of the Mountain? What's your job for that middle of the sprint? Is your job to get across the line in first place? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out and who's been given what charge on the day, what role on the day, and what areas, because I think it's going to really be seen for the Queen of the Mountain. Here's this person's or this many riders' jobs, and then you see a couple others just kind of following wheels. That'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
For sure. I completely agree. I would not want to sprint against Christina Grossman at any time, to be honest, but in particular today, after what happened last week, where she was going so hard that her bike disconnected from her trainer. We've talked about that story. Now, she's a motivated athlete. It was actually pretty impressive when you look. That's Grossman that we have on your screen right now, that she got back on, got the bike reconnected, and continued to race because she knew she could get up in the points. Showed a tremendous amount of heart, but she's doing exactly what you were talking about, just laying back, keeping it cool, and she is ready to launch when the time comes. And that's one of the beautiful things about Sarah's the Pros Closet under the direction of Anna Russell. This team has a tremendous amount of resources to use. It's interesting because, wouldn't you say, Nathan, this is one of the categories that luckily we've become familiar with because we get to see them a little more than some others. Tara Freder is not racing today. So she has been, in my mind, the star of the series up to this point, the impact rider of season 2, no doubt. But she's not. So Freder not on the start list today, unless I'm missing something, which is entirely possible. But it just shows me that this Finesse Rockets team, Nathan, if you can go head to head with Sarah's the Pros Closet and with a star like Freder not on the roster today, that says even more about your team, that you've got that kind of depth. let's see what we've got in this front group, because not everybody made this train as it rolled out of the station here. We'll take some inventory as they're only a few minutes away from this first sprint here.
Yeah, first Queen of the Mountain's coming right now, actually. So they're going to take this left-hand turn. They're just leaving the pastures. And one team that I want to definitely highlight as well is this new Agawatt team. I think they're been waiting for their moment to shine. I'm wondering if today being a punchier course, if that's maybe going to suit them a little bit. I'd be really interested to see how they end up playing. Also, Wadi Inc. is another team. You know, I definitely, at that 48, 48, 48, Seesaw Race Like a Girl, dude, they're all kind of that just wanting to sneak onto the podium. They just want to be able to match the moves of Finesse Rockets. They want to be able to match the moves of Stars to Pros Closet. We're going to see who can follow the moves today and whether or not they can hang on to get the maximum amount of points compared to those top two teams really in this, as well as Cryogen there. I said it earlier, they sneak under the radar sometimes here, but they always end up surprising us a little bit here. And so Gallopin, Brady following well as they head into this. It's going to be the Finesse Rockets who are taking over at the front, though. Bolt here, as you had said, Page, Bolt, and Coy. Now, playing Coy at the front. It's 190 beats per minute, 7 watts per kilogram. Really smashing right now. And 190 beats per minute here, 6.0. Really strung things out. Cameron following. Bolt is on the wheel there as well. Perron is able to make it. As I said, Catherine Monk's to be watching out with. Gagnon is there. Justinette riding unattached. Justinette, not familiar. To be honest here, I'm going to see where this rider is riding for and where that's going to be. Interesting to see Megan Rathwell not with the move at this point. Is she reserving? Usually a climber, but maybe more of a threshold climber and not able to follow the punchier move at the front they're putting on by Coy. Now, Anna Russell able to go with
Coy.
Grossman being dropped. That's not what they want to see with the sprinter today.
I think this comes back together, to tell you the truth. After we score these points, there should be enough horsepower here as you take a look at some quality riders surrounding Grossman at this point. Alana Brady. Okay, Agawatt, you're right. They might be the heir apparent for the next team that steps into the Thunderdome out here. So this is the danger. If you go so hard for these points, you might put some of your own team riders out the back of the group. Claire Cameron is fighting now. Again, this is the Canadian rider that was finishing out of a very select group for the win on week 1 out here. So Cameron is going to continue fighting. Ariel Coy here having a fantastic, she's already through and picked up the points now, as that was the arch right behind her. So 10 points in her back pocket. Ariel Coy.
No, they had already gone through. So Cameron and the rest ahead had already gone through. She came through for 5th place there. So Coy, the initial instigator, and we've seen that over and over again on that climb. Usually the initial instigator ends up a little further down because of that.
So
that little bit of a drafting section, as well as that second kick. It's just a little bit too long to lead things out. People usually bite off a little bit more than they can chew up front on that climb.
So there's a front group that's not this group.
Well, it's kind of like blown apart here, actually, as Bolt and Cameron just continue on. They just continue on here.
Okay, so this is the front of the bike race that we're looking at now.
Yeah, Perron here, Monks here, trying to come back now. 6.2 watts per kilogram coming from Monks. They're 192 beats per minute currently coming from her. Perron there from Solids to Pros Closet. It looks like it's going to be Finesse and Stars to Pros Closet. STPC, they want to work together, it seems like, and it would definitely be in their favor. And then sprint it out for some serious points each time they go on through. Agawatt trying to bring it back, and we had just talked about this. Agawatt, are they going to be able to take that next step and put themselves amongst that top tier in this division, which is Stars Pros Closet and the Finesse Rockets? This is their day to shine, I think, a little bit here. Julie now trying to make something happen out of Canada, going to follow some wheels. Her teammate going up, Laura Perry as well, always the super positive. And now Perron, though, here sitting in as Cameron continues to press the pace and doesn't necessarily want to see them come back. Now Finesse Rockets back to the front again. Paige Bolt taking over 183 beats per minute.
This race no longer has a peloton. That's for sure.
It's completely shattered.
I mean,
totally
this
shattered.
is only 10.7K in, and the largest group might be 6 riders out here. That's obliterated. Absolutely bananas. I mean, this is not even 11K in. So we are about 2/3 of the way through lap number 1. This is why America's East is such an exciting division and zone to watch. It might come back together here with that. It's hard to call it a second group, but a few riders are going to make this front group larger than just 4. It might go up to 10. I think that might put a cap on around 10 riders. We'll see, but this is crazy. So still out here on lap number 1. So Bolt has got to be loving the position that she finds herself in as she throws up the arrow, the featherweight power up. Another time to score here. So points going.
Rockets take
10 points
both
there.
1 and 2. Just ram. They did. It looks like Stars Pros Closet didn't even care. Interesting enough, they got to have something in their ear there. Something has to be in their ear for that to not make a move there at all for those points.
Well, I have a feeling they were being told to hold on a little bit. If we looked at, because that's why Megan Rathwell will join, and she's going to bring a cryogen rider with her, but not a finesse rocket. So if they, I think, anyways, as we take a look
at this,
further up,
Gagnon, Russell, Grossman now 13th, 12th, 11th, Rathwell right ahead. Are they going to try and TTT up because this is way too many of the yellow and white green jerseys out of the top 10 at this point? They need to get back involved, and I have a feeling they're going to try and work together to bring things back. Up ahead, Agawatt, Finesse Rockets, the rest of these riders. Is there a lot of ink in here? They're going to just start moving. I think they don't want Stars Pros Closet to TTT back at all.
Wait, so let's go ahead and paint the picture that we have as we're about to wrap up lap number 1 here. You're going to get a look at the climb to the finish line as they hightail their way through Harrogate here. So it is now, this is the vanguard. This is your front group. Take some inventory very quick. You can see Coeur Rider. Quick is having a fantastic ride today. So typically, Nathan, this is where you see in a group of 10, 4 of them being Sarah's the Pros Closet. That is not the case today. I'm not saying that the team is completely tanking it here. It's not a gong show at this point, but it's not the dominant Sarah's the Pros Closet that we've gotten used to. So as you look around, do they have more than 2? Am I missing something? Because Finesse Rockets,
there's only 2 here. There's only 2.
That's pretty incredible. That really is. This is not what you would expect to see, but again, that's why we have them actually race the bikes, not just talk about it all day. Agawatt's got to be very happy having Laura Perry there. So Josenet, Nathan, the Canadian in the black and yellow.
Royal City Cycling is who that's riding for, who Josenet is riding for. I'm just picking it up here, and that's a big move for that team. Yeah, usually not that involved here toward the front, putting themselves directly in the middle of Stars Pros got Finesse Rockets. If they take this win,
they're going nuts in Guelph. They're going nuts tonight, cheering on their rider who made the front group on what has been an absolute throwdown, Nathan. What a bike race this is. So can Saris get 2 more riders back up into this group? It's possible. That's where you really want to push on. This is a little bit to their advantage now, where they can sit on this group at least right now, because they're the one team that wants to see a few more riders join, although I don't know that they're going to be able to tell you the truth. I think we might be locking it down here with this group, Nathan. I don't think anyone gets back.
Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure that this is who Jocelyn's riding for in the ZRL here. It is what we have marked over on Zwift Power, just to make sure that we're not misquoting there or anything as far as who, because she may be, I want to figure out exactly who she'd be riding for in and amongst this here.
Appreciate it.
You know, because that may be what she has marked on Zwift Power as her official team marking over there, but it may not be what's through with WTRL.
Yeah, and so Guelph and that Royal City thing is, we know that because we've seen them racing in the community leagues, but I think you're on to it, Nathan. I might be an Agawatt rider, to tell you the truth. Josenet. So this is, as we take a look now, this front group, I don't think that anyone's going to be able to get up to them as they come through and complete lap number 1 here in Harrogate. Wow, that's quite a way to start the race here. So the points go down to 30th rider across the line. So there's plenty of racing happening behind this group. Agawatt has Laura Perry there, so it's not Agawatt by the jersey. But the thing is, sometimes some of the reliable metrics that you use to check what rider a team is on can let you down too. So I appreciate you looking into that, Nathan. Finesse Rockets have to be pretty happy. Such a strong team. They've been a really pleasant surprise here in season 2 as well, talking about the Finesse Rockets. Sarah's the Pros Closet. Once again, just because you are one of the, now they're not leading right now, but they are right there within 1 point of the overall lead. But they come in as such a highly touted team, and they do a lot in the sport. And it looks like you're just getting the men out on course right now. We were talking about with Kevin Bouchard Hall. And Kevin, we really appreciate your efforts as the Velocio team. It's a lot of fun.
This is a crazy. Crazily stacked team that we have out here with Velocio. They're currently leading things out. We'll jump back in with the women in just a moment as the men in the A category just get out on course. We've got the likes of Andrew Ferentz, ex-professional hockey player. We've got Jeff Bush out here. You don't know that name. I don't know where you've been in the world of mountain biking for the last 20 years. Just the reality. Winner, multi-time for me locally here, Iceman, trying to take that guy. I mean, obviously national champion, multi-time. I mean, one of the best Canadian mountain bikers in the last decade plus.
He's a multi-time Olympian, Nathan.
Yeah, Olympian. I mean, the whole.
Right.
I mean, they just go on and on. Ted King is in here as well for Velocio. Velocio are absolutely stacked tonight. Not to mention
it's fun.
Everybody else that's coming in. That's the normals from the team here. Kevin Bouchard Hall and the rest. I mean, this is going to be full gas. And I think this is a punchier team as well. I think they really want to hit these climbs as hard as they possibly can. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I haven't seen Jeff, to be honest, racing on Zwift much at all. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, how it transfers over. I know that he's been really focusing on gravel the last couple of years, still racing the mountain bike. I saw a post on Instagram recently that, fully planning to race the bike this year, at that top level. But, obviously with COVID and all, we haven't seen what's happening. So I want to see what the form is like coming here from Kabush.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. When you look at, so Kabush, Ted King, these are two guys that weren't just sort of journeymen pros. They've been very, very active. They're Jeff Kabush, again, the Canadian who lives now in Northern California. But Ted King, who's ridden all of the Grand Tours. But I think outside of Kabush, I think all of the guys on this team are dads. And that was one of the ways that they originally connected with KBH, Kevin Bouchard Hall, who former pro, and another one of those guys that brings character to not Zwift, just to life. And I love having people like that just in your orbit or just knowing that they're out there. So dad tips, there was a YouTube video from, I would say early in the pandemic, where Kevin was coaching Ted up on how to Zwift while being a dad. And I have a lot of love for Ted, tons of respect. And Ted is extremely well-spoken, and you can find plenty of, Ted is a content machine. Let's not kid ourselves. So, I mean, you add in that, like a couple of weeks ago, we had Ashton Lambie racing with us on the next team. It's not just the stars, but just the entire community that we have has so many interesting, fascinating people. And those are a couple that have some serious results. So Velocio, which is a clothing brand, a very forward-thinking, progressive, super high-quality stuff. And Ted's been riding in it forever and is a great spokesperson for Velocio. They're on a perfect run right now, 3 for 3. We're into race 4 right now. 20 more points on the line and restart. Would love to gobble those up. Premier Tech PT. And again, to the other teams, when you communicate, just like Kevin did on Twitter, it helps a lot, helps fill our backstory. Your origin story matters to us. So definitely reach out if you feel the urge. We'd love to hear from you. Premier Tech PT on 53 points, 48 for Project 412. In 4th, Wadi Inc. You were just talking about what a cool team they are. Wadi Inc. Superfly are tied with WTRL Lightspeed, the home squad here, and 6th right now. This is Division 4A of America's East. VCRT Amstaffs in 7th. Backwash sitting in 8th right now. You can see it's pretty close there, just 2 points. Separating 7th and 8th, it's Kokanee in 9th. On 34 points. We're going to have to ask Martin on that one, but I think Kokanee probably British Columbia Mountain. We're going to have to find out. Endurance Works 2 on 31 points. That's respectable. They're in the hunt. These guys are a little more civil, Nathan, than the women were through this part of the course. Not that it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. You could see over 5 watts per kilo from just about every one of these super engines out here. But yeah, I mean, it's never going to be easy, Nathan, but maybe slightly more civil. But as I say that, it looks like we've got a rider hitting out for Yorkshire. Going clear. They're still a ways from the first KOM, the first points on offer. This is a legit straight up throwdown. All right, get ready. Old School Fury out here in Yorkshire on the 2019 World Road Championship course.
I don't know if this is an experiment happening here by the Restart rider. I mean, Restart is really knows.
Experienced team.
Like they know exactly what they're doing here. This guy, comments coming through. I'm going to have to mute all the comments here from Sarnecki. But moving forward here, Ferentz now from Velocio, as you can see, immediately was Restart trying to like ramp the speed up?
Are they trying to show Jeff Kabush something? Like, hell yeah, 3-time Canadian Olympian mountain biker? Well, here we go. I don't know. But it's certainly impressive when you look at this group here. Ooh la la, are we in for a bike race with these guys today?
This is unexpected. Totally unexpected here.
Must have been a dropout.
Perhaps this was the reason why that attack happened. Maybe noticing that Velocio was in a little bit of
He's going to come back.
He'll get back on terms. He's one of the strongest Swifters in the world. This guy's, I mean, I don't even know what his ranking is at this point, but absolute monster. So he'll come back. Kelly's going to be working his way back in here as well. So solid little effort.
Would they have had a power
wasted match, but I don't know what happened there. That was really interesting to see that attack from Restart, and at the same time, Kevin's off the back. I mean, was there a chink in the armor? Because Restart Velocio, it's a 3-point difference. There's a definite battle happening right now between these two teams.
Yeah, Nathan, very interesting. And look how easily he's able to move. Well, easily with air quotes. But, I mean, not many riders could do what Kevin just did, which was ride right back up to where he wanted to be. Now, sure, a match was burnt. Shows you what a quality rider he is. But, I mean, in all honesty, is that possibly some kind of a dropout? Because he's so good. I don't know what those notes were saying. Did he get up and put a bottle in his baby's pram? Or something, you know what I mean? Like, is he babysitting right now and racing? Is he multitasking? Anyways, he's back. Don't worry, folks. That's good to see. So Royal City, I see them here, Nathan. Maybe it is Royal City over in the women's, or this is the men's race that we're with right now. The women are a little bit further up course here in Yorkshire. They're out on their second lap.
We'll jump in with them real quickly. Yeah,
sure.
We'll jump in
I just saw Royal City
before we head back on over to the climb. Just real quick to just give an update where things are at. This is the chase group currently. We do have Grossman, Rathwell, as well as Anna Russell in here. I believe Cameron may have come back, maybe. There's at least, no, 45. Cameron's ahead. Cameron's ahead. 21 seconds is the difference at this point. Whitney Post is in here as well. Good to see her. She is streaming currently, I believe, over on Twitch, I was told. This is a much smaller group that's ahead. Monks alongside of the Egawatts. I believe Monks also has Paige Bolton here still. The Egawatt girls with Laura Perry is here. And Julie. Now, here's the thing.
This is the front group that we're looking at.
This is the front group.
Right
20 seconds is the difference between this group and the chase group. They do not want SARS to Pros Closet to come back and be involved here at all. So SARS Pros Closet, they'll be sitting on.
For sure.
And Bolt and Egawatt, I think it's up to them at this point to really make something happen. That's the situation. We're going to head back to the men here quickly because they just started their climb.
Interesting, Nathan, when you look at it, when we go back to the women in a few minutes, I'm curious to see whether. So just remembering, put a bookmark on 20 seconds is what that gap was at, because that could go either way. I could see those two groups being joined together, or I could see the gap having gone out to 40 seconds. We're back in now with the front group. So we're setting up now for that first sprint. I'm going to expect the ripple effect from that sprint will put a few riders into trouble here. I think that this might punch the ticket for about 10 guys at the back with the way this has been super aggressive, and there's no reason why these guys are going to give any kind of quarter out here now.
Not at all, and really that elastic snapping at the back is that might be it at this point here for these riders. As you do see Friedman moving his way backwards here. You got to close this down now. We do have a little bit of a tail coming out, so they may be able to grab onto the back end of that. There'll be a second punch in just a moment. These riders need to be ready for it, or it's going to split again. Looking our way backward, let's see who's starting to suffer. It does look like it's going to be Santos, Mozart, P. Knight is there as well, Cedar, Henry. Where are the Velocio boys? Litzer is there as well. So most of the big names have made it, though, it looks like, toward the front end of this. Morin is the only one here I can see from Velocio at this point. Going to keep moving forward to see what's going to happen for this sprint. It is opening up. Hopefully we don't miss it. Looks like Bush is going to make this. It's going to be Dowd, though, from the restart. Morris there from Velocio. Next one, Moro. And then it's going to be Frank and Crane. That's your top five, excuse me, across the line. Kevin Bouchard Hall just a little ways back. Going to trust things, it looks like here. And this is all going to well back together for the top. I would say 20 riders maybe.
Yeah, I would agree about that. But when you see this, Nathan, that tells me it is a brutal affair. It is strung out like a runway model right now. I mean, look at that line. That is not pretty. So this is Kabush. Huge engine here. I tell you what, that's a guy that I would look to at this point in the race to try to hold on his wheel. Ted King now. What a great story Ted King is, as this yellow jersey of Velocio now getting onto the back of this group. He certainly has been coached up by KBH. He knows all about the super tuck here.
Yeah, in a good position now. And they do have a rider off the front, it looks like. Giving a little bit of a go. A couple of riders, actually. It looks like it is going to be Maru and Morse, but they're going to be caught very quickly. That pack's coming on strong. I do believe the riders behind should be able to get back on terms. I believe Velocio may sit up a little bit and allow some of their other riders to get back. They do have Kabush off the back here as well as Barton trying to make something happen. So those two riders, they're going to give a little bit of a kick, but that group can quickly fade away on this uphill grind if anybody really wants to give it a go. Bourne now can see that there is trouble. He's going 9, 10 watts per kilometer. That's what you got to do to bring this back now. 46 kilometers per hour. We go forward. It's 40, 39. So there's a lot of speed coming up from behind here. It does look like this is going to come back.
Yeah, this will get welded back together. So, all right.
What is this? Chantel Thompson, what is this message coming through? Suddenly we're in the middle of the weekly Cycling Canada ride, it looks like. So I wonder if we're going to get these all the way through. We'll get some sort of messages and learn a little bit. It looks like all the way through there with group chat.
It's a first for me on that. You could do a lot worse than Cycling Canada, though. That's for sure. If there was one group that I would trust for, tame content, it would be Cycling Canada. They don't go outside of the guardrails there, I don't think. We're back in with the women. All right. This one's going to be a Donnybrook front group. Now, okay, let's see. 23. So answering that question, Nathan, it was 20 seconds before, so they're not closing down the gap, talking about the chase. This is the front group. This group might split here. Catherine Monk's one of the superstars in this division. Again, this is the Women's America's East Division 1. We've been in with this group a few times. Points right up the road there, scored 10 deep. This is going to do damage. Bolt has been phenomenal for the Finesse Rockets. No doubt that's going to be Claire Cameron coming through. That feather power-up helps. Finesse looks like they would love to go 1-2. Claire Cameron has something to say about that. Is she's going to let her legs do the speaking as she begins flogging herself like a rented mule that's due back in 20 minutes. Claire Cameron don't care. She's going to pick up top points as they roll through.
Yeah, and it is going to be for 5th place Perone across the line. Now there's a split. These four most likely, again, are going to do what they did last lap and be gone. I think Agawad are going to have to really be the ones that do the work because, Agawad as well as Cure, they're the ones going to be missing out at this point. Coy needs to get back on terms as well. It looks like now off the back. Coy, who is this? Who is Coy riding for? We don't have a tag in game here for Coy. Let's see if I can find exactly. It's going to be Stages Cycling, actually. So Stages Cycling putting their name on the map a little bit here. Good to see. Yeah. Paisley Sheehan is the next rider out on course for them, as well as Nicole Zurich in the next third chase group actually behind. So she's really put an effort out here for this team.
Well, and this was the team that we talked about, Elijah Beatty. A lot of these riders are associated with Marion University. Paisley Sheehan, her brother rides for Sojasun. That's that name is one of the great American cycling names, as her father is now director for the rally cycling team, the Professional Continental Squad here in the U.S., and a former pro rider, had some big wins back in the 90s, had a huge pro career, but just a great American cycling family. And this is good to see. This is such a strong group now. I'm surprised that they split, to tell you the truth. Nathan, I didn't see that coming. I thought we would go down to that final sprint with that group. This is Josenet that we're with now. 28 total kilometers out here today. It really hits right at 28 as well. So we are really stuck in it now.
I love what she's doing here. This is perfect move by Josenet. That feather power up use right here. And a lot of people be like, wait, what? There's a sprint coming up. This moment right here is where you want to put the pressure on if you think anybody else is hurting. This false flat can... I remember suffering through this section, and you don't understand it. A lot of times you don't understand it unless you have ridden and raced this course, that this section can be the most painful if anybody's in any kind of trouble at all. They've not recovered after the climb. They have this really sharp punch trying to hang with the group, and then if you have continuance through here, you can split things up. I like the move there. It didn't end up working out too well. Looks like she might also be motivated to keep Perone off the back of this because they don't want a third Stars Pros Closet rider.
Level 14 Zwifter. That is a fresh Zwifter for doing what she is doing right now. Clearly, she didn't start getting her fitness with Zwift. She brought something to the table because this is a high caliber ride that we're looking at right now. High quality, I should say. So this, again, level 14 Zwifter, that is really just getting going if you don't Zwift at all. This is super impressive what we're looking at. Back in with Bolt now of one of our top teams, Finesse Rockets.
Finesse Rockets, now they got the gap. It looks Rockets. And this is what happened here. Look at that. I think that push from Josenet broke Monks. That is not something you would usually see.
Monks comes back. Monks will come back here, I strongly think, just getting caught out for a moment. I don't think she's dropped. I mean, she is.
2.4
right,
watts per kilogram, 1.9. There's nothing left in the tank here at 185 beats per minute. She's throwing the towel in. Josenet continues on and says, yeah, we broke Monks, and that's the threat at this point. Finesse Rockets, they're going to try and slow things down here. Paige Bolt, now it's just about following wheels as Josenet continues on from Royal City.
This is not what you'd expect, is it, Nathan? Completely different storyline than what we've seen up to this point in the season. And I guess it speaks to we're into the fourth race, but this is the first time that Sarah's the Pros Closet hasn't had, or Finesse Rockets haven't had complete upper hand out here. We've got a different kind of bike race happening today. That's for sure.
I'm not taking anything away from Josenet. She's definitely been the instigator here, waited for a perfect moment, but it was Paige Bolt and Cameron, who I think just rode everybody else off the wheels. And that battle, as well as Coy really, burned some serious matches on that first climb. But in my opinion, the battle we saw between Bolt and Cameron going for the points on the Queen of the Mountain and them just going head to head over and over again, I think has blown this apart. And they've been able to follow all the wheels all the way through. And then Josenet capitalized on this for Royal City. And now we've got 3 off the front.
Well, either way, who's the huge benefactor there? Josenet, right? Because she's the one that doesn't have to deal with another rider having a teammate anymore. They've both dropped teammates out of this front group.
This has been a crazy fast race as well. I mean, we're already coming into the finish here, Dave. This is like a K&a-half to go.
Yeah, wow. It's a 3-rider kick. It looks like. I don't think anyone could have predicted this kind of finale out here. So all the points are still out there. You don't have to be in the group to get the points. Time gaps make 0 difference out here. So ultimately, this is it. This is going to be very interesting. So if Josenet can win this sprint, holy cow, have you got to write her name down in ink? Going up against some experienced riders, they make this hard right-hand turn. It all begins right here, right now. We are locked and loaded as 3 riders enter the Thunderdome. Only one comes across the line first. Who's going to lick their plate clean here in Harrogate?
Oh no, Josenet, she used an arrow power up way too early. 197 beats per minute. She may just be suffering that badly, though, at this point. 198 now. Paige Bolt leading things out. Cameron's just sitting in. This is the perfect setup for Sarge Pro's Closet now at this point. All she has to do is sit in and wait to attack. Josenet comes over the top now. Cameron sitting in. 179. Is it just going to be a long, drawn out attrition to the line? Cameron's waiting. Is she going to go?
She's got a power
coming
up.
Around. There's the arrow power up, though. There comes the feather. She's going to have to hold on perfectly here for this to work out for her. That arrow power up is going to be just early enough to come around it, perhaps. Cameron's got extra watts, 10 watts per kilogram, 500 watts almost. Cameron, I think, is going to hang on. Oh, no, it's not. Bolt at the last second takes it down. Paige Bolt, the Finesse Rockers, show why they're number one right now out on Zwift in this division. Now we're back with Perone now. And they're going to try and take a couple of the points that are left over here now. 4 stars to Pro's Closet.
Yeah, I mean, there's still massive points at the line. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Here we go. Soprano. This really helps for Sarah's the Pro's Closet. Let's see if that's going to be the difference, because Coy is going to be the next rider across the line. Monk's there. Oh, wow. What a race. This is going to be interesting to see how the points all tally here. I'm not sure who got the better out there today.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here if we can jump back in with a few of our riders actually real quickly. Apologies on that, everybody. As it starts to populate, sometimes it jumps around on us a little bit. We got a lot of the other riders as we leave this here. A lot of other riders will start coming in. So it does look like Grossman again. They're going to be coming into the line together. Agawat and some of the others up ahead. There's still points on the line here, but they're not going to battle each other so much for it. This is more just for fun. Between the two riders, we'll get results up in just a moment. Let's jump back in with the men's race, though. They are just finishing their climb they just finished their climb going into the second lap as Grossman finishes up with Gagnon from Stars to Pro's Closet here in the women's race. Coming back on over, we've got a smallest group here, probably about 25 riders, I want to say, still involved. It is going to be restart. Let's go ahead and just go through the list here of riders that are actually still up toward the front end of this race. It is pretty star-studded field, that's for sure. Derek Farrell from Restart, Nicholas Grubach there coming from Backwash. Andre Struble riding for E2 Value, it looks like. Andrew Nixon there for RC2. Royal City. Andrew Ferentz is in there. Bjorn's in there as well. Charles McCarthy from Velocio. Gulami Set there from PT. Jason Mount. Jonathan Crane. Lots of big names in here. So Timo Disease represented by Mark Sherbino. That's the Sharknadoes. Maximilian Moreau there for PTPT. Michael Day there from VCRT. Go ahead there, Dave.
I was going to say that ride from Josene, she was with Royal City.
Yeah, she was. She was with Royal City. Yeah, sorry about that.
That was a great ride. Very, very impressive today. That's how you stand out. That women's race was an absolute thriller. I'd expect nothing less from the guys here now, as we've got these gladiators bearing down on it. As Nathan just said, they're into lap number 2. Matt was talking about this course being his favorite. I can see why. The detail here, the stone fences, the vibe is great for a lovely bike ride here in Yorkshire. 2019 Road World Championship, Mads Pedersen, Annemiek van Vleuten winning the road races. This is also where Chloe Dygert had her phenomenal time trial. Really put her on the pro map on the road. She was already doing so well with all the Olympic and World Champion stuff in the velodrome. But here we go with Charbonneau. Restart.
Yeah,
Ted King's moved right up near the front.
Yeah, where we've been so far, one lap done at this point. There's about 25 riders that have made it after the first lap of absolute insanity. Very, very difficult climbing and lots of punching here. We'll get some points up as best we possibly can in just a moment as the Zwift data comes on through. We do see a lot of that yellow in here from the Velocio team, so a lot of them have made it. Be on the watch out for Restart as well, though, as they are currently sitting in second place overall, only 3 points behind in the teams. A couple of teams to watch out for. Backwash, they've got a solo rider involved, it looks like. Also, I think Royal City have a couple of P412 is in here as well. So, to name a few, those that got some representation still and Gabriel making his way to the front.
It's really important to note that, Nathan, not just for setting up for the win, but it's more about, I know I've talked about it before, but we have so many new viewers as well. It's the points out here, and every rider on your team, the points are tallied up for the day. And then we translate that into a larger overlaying table to figure out the season series. This is the 4th of 8 races. The community is 8, right? It was 10 before.
As far as the races go,
community season is 8
yes,
or
8
10.
races. Yep,
8 races. And so we're right at the midpoint when this race finishes here. We have a mix of team time trials, and that's what WTRL, that's their speciality. We'll have another one coming up on Thursday for WTRL's weekly race. So popular, 6,000 people. We have weekly 9,000 people racing. This is a very select group of those 9,000 that we've got on our screen right now. I think a little bit of a truce has been called out here, Nathan, as the guys know that they're, let's call it 7.5K from the finish. But a few sprints, more points to contest. Look at the Velocio team doing such a tremendous job. It's very cool. I mean, again, you see more and more NASCAR drivers who get into cycling and are out there on Zwift. That is far from rare these days, which really is so a long-time cycling person. It does your heart good when you hear about other people falling in love with cycling too. It's one club that can never be too big. Andrew Ferentz is racing with us. He's on the Velocio team, which is an NHL star. And staying fit for hockey players, can you imagine what they go through? Well, he's clearly stayed more than just fit. And he's in the front group. There you go. You can see the Canadian flag right there, comfortably ensconced in our front group. That would make some Zwift history if he was able to win a race at this level, Nathan.
Yeah, he does
extremely
well.
cool.
He does really, really well, actually. He's got a good sprint on him. He's got some pretty good FTP. And so they didn't pick him up just for the pro hockey badge. He definitely has had some results out on Zwift. You go through his Zwift power. He's been racing for a couple of years out here now. So really solid rider here in the A+.
I wonder his connection to the so he was a Boston Bruin. So I'm wondering, he must have met Ted at some Best Buddies event or so, something like that, right? As Ted has been a great ambassador, played for the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. That's who he was drafted by, and the Edmonton Oilers. I did the tour of Alberta that went through Edmonton, and we had a chance to have a lot of the Oilers players come out. They were loving having the racing there. Pro athletes have as much respect for other sports. It's always interesting to watch that, isn't it, Nathan? In mountain biking, you've seen that as well. As Reggie Miller is a big-time mountain biker now, the TNT analyst who's so respected in the NBA, an extremely, extremely passionate cyclist. Let's take a look at Moreau right now. You ever mountain bike with Reggie Miller, Nathan? Have you ever seen him at any races?
No, not yet. I haven't been down to SoCal. Mainly I've seen him in SoCal a ton on Instagram.
Absolutely.
A lot of the
around Malibu
crowd that I'd be riding with if they do.
Dave Zabriskie.
XCT or any so.
Zabriskie rides mountain bikes all the time now. He, one of the greatest time trialists in American history, also stage winner at the Tour, the Welter, the Giro. Ted King rode all of those races, who's in our race today, but is now a mountain biker and a big-time Zwifter with his Floyds of Leadville crew. And they see Reggie out there on the trails all the time. Look at this, though, Nathan. Another Canadian standout. This is Moreau opening up a gap, nearly 7 watts per kilo to do so. So this is a big effort to get a few seconds. Obviously, he's looking to gobble up some points out here.
Yeah, and he's got the kind of gap that could stick at this point. Kevin, I think, now sees that this may be a threat. He punches up into some orange numbers. Frank's there as well. We do see Velocio now making the way to the front, going to try and drag things up, but I think Moreau has made this happen. The Canadian is going to hold on, I believe. A little bit of a kick. He's going to have to hold solid. Now 10 watts.
They're coming for you.
Coming on quickly here. 5% gradient. No, they're going to do it here as Dowd comes over the top. Yeah, and there it is. Restart. Going to take some more points. And this is the points they desperately need, being in that second place, 3 points back on the overall. It's going to be them versus Velocio, I think, at the final. We'll see if we can get some points up on screen here. Frank there from Velocio coming on through for third. It's going to be VCRT for fourth, coming from Bouchard Hole fifth. I believe it was Crane, now moving backwards, but he was 6th. Ted King is still involved. Bush is still able to hang on. No, the pack is rolling away, though, at this point. But there are enough restarts behind that are going to be really motivated to bring that back.
This
I
will
think he'll
help.
be just fine.
But that's a relief when you look back and you see some fresh horses. Well, I don't think there's any fresh horses out here, but that yellow jersey, that does a heart good, as these guys should have enough collectively to be able to rejoin. We're getting down to it now. The business end for our elite men out here. This has been an absolute Donnybrook. Bike racing at its best. We saw early in the race, that was quite a moment as Kevin Bouchard Hall had to chase back in, but the yellow Armada from Velocio here looking like they're starting to get some numbers, Nathan. We're winding this one up very, very tight. Moreau has been phenomenal. Great job by this rider. We take a look around. Crane, great job for restart. Sherbino also has been more than holding their own as they've been throwing some body blows out here as well. Jeff Kabush. Now, we're watching closely for the Canadian Olympian, the mountain bike superstar, to see what he can do now. That's a known, in real life, massive engine. Okay, let's see what we've got. It looks like they're
so many riders coming back. Wow. 2 packs actually coming back together here. Lots of feather power being dropped. Every one of those riders is going to be looking for an arrow at this next section. And right to the front, it's going to be the restart rider. Shubino, for the Sharknadoes ODZ. Another feather here coming from Grubik, actually. Just setting out to the front for CTP.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Did not expect to see this large of a group at this point now. So we do have a bonus points that they're going to be contesting a couple of times. But looks like a group this large going to be going to the line, something close to this. If you were able to, so kind of the reverse, as I've said, like if you see a group that's dropped and they're 20 seconds back, I'll say, well, there's a reason they're back there. But if you're able to fight back, that's an incredible, you talk about momentum in a bike race. And it clearly, some riders start to feel good. Now is when they're really clicking. And the points right around the corner. Let's see who's going to grab them. You're going to see the truss here. That's going to be Frank for Velocio. They're going to go 1-2. But I think Morse, let's see what we've got here. Dowd
from restart there with the Sharknadoes, I think. Or excuse me, no, with the restart. Excuse me, Dowd riding for restart, obviously. There, and it was Velocio trying and did grab 2 of the top spots. I believe Velocio are going to be able to win this on points to the line most likely. We'll see, though. Let me double check the preems, though. Let's see if we do have an update.
How about restart tonight, Nathan? Look at the job they're doing. You know, really going toe-to-toe with Velocio as far as the numbers are out here, but they should be really holding their heads high with the position. So you got to be in position to have a crack at this one. And, they've been picking up enough points there. So that was the season that we were looking at. I'm wondering, so the preem points, that's going to make a big difference out here. Whew,
this is all right. At 5.3 watts per kilogram, 172. Sherbino is actually trying something. This isn't like, it's not going to stick, but he's
not stretching his legs.
No, not at all. Yeah. BCRT shuts it down. All back together. Kabush sitting in, King sitting in. Both of them are there. Kevin Bouchard Hall is still there. McCarthy is still here. Velocio still dominating when it comes to the number of jerseys they have here, putting plenty in the top 5 to 10, though.
I love that in this group you've got guys who've played in the NHL, been to the Olympics for mountain biking, done the Tour de France, the Giro, the Vuelta, and yet there's another guy who is a dad of 2 who never raced professionally, who gets a chance to race against them. That is the absolute beauty of esports. Folks, we're down to it. We've got a little more than 1K until this one is done and dusted. I guarantee we're going to find a worthy winner out of this group. Pick your favorite, and let's lock it down now. So to take you through the course, really it's going to come down to that hard right-hand turn that brings you by the Zwift Draft House and begins the sprint. It's about a 5.5% grade for the first half, and then it starts to flatten out quite a bit. Not completely as you go to the line, but you got to time your sprint right. So, Nathan, that's the group that our winner is in. right now, it's going to be very interesting to see who it is and then what team. Certainly looks like Restart has stepped up and is ready to take the challenge, but that's not it. We've got quite a few riders looking to make their mark, have their breakthrough moment in the Zwift Racing League right here, right now, guys.
Barton now kicks very early. This is a good move to try and get a couple of the other teams to hit out, try and make a chase, pull the rest of Velocio up to the line, so that there's not quite as many games. Velocio is just going to make the follow, I believe. VCRT, Amstaff, they're the next one to go. Now the orange numbers are going to bring it around back as Barton is the one to be chased. He comes through with some
Control
speed,
your destiny.
10 watts per kilogram, 1 second. He's going to need a little bit more than that to make this happen with the kind of speed that's going to come out of this pack. Gorilla says enough is enough. 4.4 is all I'm going to give here on the front. And as they start to look at each other, it's going to be up to the rest of maybe Velocio now going across. Not trying to drag anybody with him, though, as it's going to be Kevin Bouchard Hall. Ted King now coming on through. And King's got a kick. 10 watts per kilogram. It's way too early, though, I think. No, with 100 to the line. Here comes a little bit of a freight train. King, is he going to do it?
Ted King. Oh, my God.
Down at the line. Down at the line.
What a surge.
Restart with the surge.
Oh, my heart.
Timing. I'm going to have to take a look at the results, though, because King, tried to hold on. It was a good move by Ted. Unable to hold on.
And they did everything they could. Nathan, that's exactly what I'm talking about for Dowd there. They took it to him. They went to the kitchen sink, and he still won for Dowd and Restart. That's huge. Now, did the team do enough? Because ultimately, we're looking at all the points. We'll start adding them up, but that is so fun to watch a rider have a moment like that. Wow. I love it. America's East can't be beat for quality racing, men, women, every week.
Jumping in with the B category, we'll get results in just a moment here. That was so incredibly close. We'll get results on how that ended up playing out. King looked like he pulled it off there, but right to the last moment, and then Dowd said that last 100 meters, if somebody's got a 12 watt per kilogram sprint, because they really had just nothing but attrition, 10 watts per kilogram or so, nothing that was really crazy in that 12 to 15. It goes to show how incredibly hard that race was, though, too. I think they just made it just that hard that there just wasn't a whole lot left in the legs. So
that's how you do it, right? When you're the strongest team with the fittest guys with the biggest reputation, you make it hard like that. But when a guy like Dowd can withstand and resist, it's just that much more impressive. These guys have got just a little over 2.5K to go, Nathan.
Stay up, Dave. Yes, I'm going to say.
About that?
Yeah, coming on through.
I'm kind of like blown away at how great the racing was. And it's almost hard. Like you have to be like, okay, are we really going to be able to go through that kind of emotion again? So we are.
We are. Yep. It's
Don't kid yourself. Absolutely, we are. This is the Bees, and they've got a little over 2K to go. You know this finish well. We've been doing this now. It's just such a great finish here, the last 2K. Obviously, that last 500 meters, so much can happen. Nathan, you're right. They go early, and it looks good, but you continue to go. It's like sprinting through wet cement out there. It's hardening as you're rolling through it, right? Just thick and slow.
Yeah, this section through here, they're thinking, I think, a ton about these chasers behind at this point. They've got a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
You've got 5 riders along with you here. Tremblay, Picard, Busky, Sanderson's there. You can see Ninste Abdefietz. I'm not sure if that's a name or... Kraft is here as well, though, also from Slow Twitch. So they do have 2 team members. They're sitting on the back, though, a little bit, which is interesting. You see Sanderson from MGCC coming on through. Peddler CC, they want to close this down for the B category and try and take this down. It's only 4 seconds up. Here comes the Dirt Boys. It's going to be La Visier that's going to make the first move on this little bit of a kick. This can bring things back, but Tremblay here now. Now a kick from Sanderson. See, the thing is that as soon as they make the catch, it's going to be coming into the climb, and you've kind of already burnt a lot of matches just to get there. Will they have time to sit up and get any kind of breath back as the dirt rider almost comes across? It's right in front of him. And the thing that stinks, if he doesn't, the thing that's really difficult, if he doesn't get it here, this team, the riders behind him are just going to swallow him up.
So that's what I'm saying. Ride for your placing, not catching this group, right? It's more important to hold off the guys behind you than catch these guys. So don't blow your engine trying to make this catch. I mean, he's going to. He'll prove me wrong and go right through them and win, right? But what I'm saying here is, I think if you can hold on to this gap in between for another a little more than half a K, but with a tough finish here, there's the turn that they make right past Scotty the squirrel here, and then you start the climb to the finish line. Again, this turns into a 5% grade here. Can he do it? That's really what I'm watching the front, watching to see who's going to win, looking for the teams to see who put a few riders in the top 10, and that's how you do it in the overall ZRL competition. Looks like he's going to get caught, doesn't it, Nathan?
Getting caught, and I think this crowd is even going to get caught. They've been looking at each other a little
caught.
too much.
The whole front group is going to get caught.
They really slowed down, though. Did you see that? They started looking at each other. The lead out wasn't going to happen so much, and now this group, I think, may be able to stay away. Someone in this front group is getting full benefit, and that's going to be, I think, Kraft here from Slow Twitch, sitting in 160, and I'm expecting him to go full gas here in about 2 seconds. His teammate goes to the front, and there it is. Kraft. No, it's going to be Tremblay, DCNZ, and there it was. There it is, Kraft there. I said it, 13 watts per kilogram.
Bye-bye.
Coming through.
See you later. Hot soup.
He was in the perfect spot, too. It was the smart spot to be in, that third or fourth wheel, just waiting. Kicks it to the line. Tremblay there, followed up by Slow Twitch, and that's going to be Sanderson. Picard, the second group sprint, Chad just barely nipping out Boucher and Shane. So that was the situation in that B category in this A's.
Fun
Love
racing.
them going across these divisions. You know, we've seen a lot more of the racers, who they are, and
start to recognize some names. Starting to learn who the heavy hitters are. It's fun. Good job, Nathan. Thank you.
Got another Canyon here, BRT Osprey.
Like
with
Canyon?
Sims. Canyon like a canyon here. I used to say Gagnon. They always were like Gagnon.
They did not like that.
They did not know.
Not
they were mad. Not at all.
Yeah. Not cool. Yep.
They even gave me a nursery rhyme to work on it. Canyon like a canyon.
Well, you got it now. You're doing great. So this was a fun wave of racing. We're not done. It's going to be both of us again. You get to take one long final pull tonight, Nathan. Great job all day today. It's been super fun as we are women, men, all of our categories in America's East, always between you and me, my favorite category.
Crash Test Dummies in the C category. That is actually a
It's a Canadian band. Remember them? The band Crash Test Dummies? Sure you do. That's right in your wheelhouse.
OTR is who there's riding front for. It's going to be OTR on the Rivet Crash Test Dummies. G. Kirk is working right alongside them. This is a nice little
They're like R3R.
Group here.
They're using bands as their team names now, like R3R with Fleetwood Mac and AC/DC. Maybe not. Maybe. Believe me, I've learned. Yeah, don't assume anything. But of course, I'm sure our riders will be happy to have this one just to tick that box and say this one is done, because this is as hard as they get for all of our racers out here. Finishing this one is a big deal.
Matthias here, ATP Butane now trying to make a change. This is an interesting situation because we have three groups here, two up at the front, OTR with two in the middle, and then we've got this chase group of four that could just upset the whole thing for them if they really work well together. The two up front, though, are teammates, 3.2 watts per kilogram, 4 watts per kilogram. They got a little bit more, I think, in the tank than some of the chasers back there. They just got to work well together. 4 watts per kilogram, one last little punch. See if anybody's sitting in and amongst that group back there. It's always what I'm thinking about if I'm in a group like that. All right, where's the next section where I can really go across and I can wait, and then punch some orange numbers? Not really seeing that from the group. I think they all been working, really sharing the effort so far. Maybe this 5 watts per kilogram from ATP butane. It's not going to be the speed, though, that I think is needed to bring that back. 7 seconds is a lot with only about 2K to go.
In with the BRT Ospreys and Gagnon again. A couple of teammates, actually, isn't it, here, as they are about a K from the finish, just working their way through beautiful Harrogate.
9 really seconds continues to go out, so it looks like they've got this C category wrapped up. We take a look
at... Good job, Ospreys.
Standing situation. Wonder if we can get an idea of where things are at here in this C category. Kind of give us an idea of the setting that we're currently looking at um, across this men's
Oh,
situation. And it is the Ospreys.
1 point. So it's close.
On
Very
Rivet
close here with Waddy,
Experimental
too.
Mixtape, they're on the chase. That's why they were trying to go across, I think, with Kirk.
Do these two sprint, Nathan? If you had a teammate with you, would you want to sprint it out for fun?
It's not about fun. It's about I'm going to beat you. I'm just kidding. Of course. I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean,
I was like, so hey, everybody out there, this is what it's like to be on Nathan's team. Okay, I'm sure the entire Team Time Trial squad just nodded in agreement out there. How is your Team Time Trial team doing?
We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. I mean, it's tons of fun, but at the end of the day, like first across, unless that's not my job and it's like
Type 2
GC
fun.
or something like that. You
Type
know, but
2
we're
fun.
pushing each other.
Yeah.
They might end up losing this, actually. It looks like ATP were saving a little bit of something. So 5 seconds. So, no, Nelson sees what's happening. Tries to go across. OTR. No, he's got 7 watts per kilogram. The crash test dummies are taking it to the line. BRT. He's too late, though. He's ramping too late, perhaps. Well, OTR through. He's got to carry.
No, I think. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Right to the line.
What a
Makes it happen.
wild finish.
Like, maybe not. He gave
back.
up.
Oh, my goodness. He did it. My God.
Oh, he thought he had it. Wasn't enough. Gagnon made it happen. The Ospreys.
You did it again. I always thought this course profile looks like an electrocardiogram of someone who's having a heart attack. Well, this has been that kind of day. Unbelievable racing. Wow. We're not done, folks. We've got the West to look forward to. Starting, I actually just got that funny alert, Nathan, from Facebook where they say Facebook Live, Zwift Community Live is still going. Like they can't believe it.
It just still keeps going and going.
They're like, these guys keep going and going. They never stop. But we don't.
Bunny over here.
Bunnies. So. Yeah, I don't feel like a bunny. That's for sure.
I don't feel like a bunny. That's
Nathan, that's great.
That's the quote. That's the quote of the day coming from Dave. I don't feel like a bunny today.
Yeah.
So
I ain't no bunny.
More bunny memes. Bring the bunny memes, everybody.
Yikes.
So,
the WTRL people who make the posters, Nathan, right? They always do such a good job with that. I'm looking forward to Thursday already. I hope we see you there. But let's talk about Paige Bolt, huh? The Finesse Rockets getting it done there with the win. It was such an exciting race as Claire Cameron, the Canadian for Sarah's The Pros Closet, will take silver. And then breakthrough ride from Danielle Jossenet. Going to give her a big gold star for that. Janine Perron for fourth, the chocolate medal. Ariel Coy was a standout today as well. In fifth, Catherine Monks holds on for sixth. Juliette O'Day in seventh. Laura Perry in eighth. Angela Quick for ninth. And Alana Brady. That is a star-studded top 10. These are names we've already become very familiar with. Great race today for the Women's East Division 1A race.
Yeah, I definitely want to shout out, too, to how difficult they made this race. They really allowed this course. We said at the beginning, as soon as you saw Stars Pros Closet go to the front, and Finesse Rockets as well, that they were just going to make this course as hard as they possibly could. That's what happened. You can see in that 4.5 watts per kilogram, you know, as well as Danielle Jossenet there, Claire Cameron. They really just blew things apart and ended up walking away. That sprints there across the line. We'll end up seeing what ends up happening, though, in the points overall. The women's preems, this will give us an idea.
Hard to say. Yeah.
This will give us an idea. Lots of Finesse Rockets toward the top. Plus, they took it on the day. But Christina Grossman with 20 points in there still.
That's looking pretty good for the Rockettes, actually.
It is looking good for the Rockets. 31, 31, 62. Do a little math
and winning.
there, though. Yeah.
So my hunch is it's going to be Rockettes. So we'll see.
I think
the
it's
proof is always
close.
going to be in the math.
It might be close, but I don't know.
Well, and again, what's great about this season is it's only a 1 point difference once we translate that into the season table, right? 20 points for the win, 19 for second. So either way, it's only going to be 1 point, one way or the other.
True.
Looking now,
battle's still happening. Tune in next week.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
The TTT.
You got 4 more of these. TTT, we've gotten the Stars to Pros Closet. They've shown that they have been doing some homework. I think they're going to do a lot more
That's their
before next
specialty.
Tuesday. Megan Kelly takes first place there, 3.5 watts per kilogram. Very close, less than 6/100ths of a second between her and Caroline Dufour. Britt Powell coming through for third, also right there, but a little bit more with that 10th of a second. Allison Thompson there for fourth. Joy Lithgow there in fifth. Nina Leilou in sixth. It's going to be Nancy Gillen there in seventh. Melanie Rocker in eighth. Katrina Keynes in ninth. And then Mariha Leveske, I'm going to say, in 10th.
Marijo Levesque,
Levesque. Thank you.
I think. Tina Luck on top here for the 1Cs. It's Ashley Cameron for second, Aaron T for third, Vicky Sue ending up in fourth, Rachel Brake for fifth, Bridget Brown in sixth, Margot Eisenhower in seventh. You got Rosie Jacobson in eighth, Sierra Simonlist in ninth, and then Michelle Canada, or Canada. I'm going to go with Canada in 10th. But let me know, actually. That's what Twitter is for.
MJ is for correcting people mispronouncing. That's all Twitter's for.
Yeah, that's what I want to have
Mouser,
barraging me on
WTRL.
Twitter when I wake up. Yeah, please.
Coming through.
No,
in
actually,
first
we do
place.
want to know, though.
We
For
do
sure
want
we
to
do.
know. We do want to know.
Yeah.
Claire Atkinson for WTRL as well. So they're doing really well here, it looks like, for first and second in the D category for the women. Elise Crutchetier coming through for third. Unique for fourth. Sarah Z in fifth. Trish Cal in sixth. Kim R in seventh, followed by Valerie Brassard in eighth. Linda Bracado in ninth. And then Kimmy D coming through for 10th. That's the women's results there for the America's East Division 1D. In the men's results, Andre Strula, interesting enough, we're seeing ahead of Oliver Dowd, actually. So right to the line, Strula comes on through.
That's Romania, right? Flag?
I believe
Probably
so.
racing in the east coast of the U.S., but Andre, good job. So, just going to say, I think something might be fishy there.
I'm looking at
Wasn't
the replay
Oliver
right
Dowd
now.
the
I'm
winner?
going to look at the replay right now.
I was pretty sure it was Oliver Dowd. I don't remember seeing anyone else there, but you know
Strula,
what?
I think, was
I'm
coming
wrong.
on through right to the
Was
last
he?
second, actually.
Oh, there we go. My
If
bad.
look
I
at this
apologize.
here- Look at this here. Right at the line. He was right. Yeah, you see that? Right there. Strula came
Yeah, we
through
missed
right
that.
at the line there.
Yeah. There you
There
go.
he
Well,
is.
congratulations,
There
and
he
I
is.
apologize. 100% my bad.
Yeah, so Strula ended up taking it down there. In
You know what else
the
threw me off was a Romanian flag, right? That was sort of, I was like, that's a kind of unique flag for this time zone. But Andre,
Look at
great
Ted
job.
King and Mike
Congratulations.
Morse. Literally tied. It comes down to a thousandth of a second between Jeff Kabush in the first Zwift race I've ever seen, the three-time
got up there.
Olympian in fifth place amongst the pixels. Great job to Jeff there coming on through, and great to have him in and amongst the racing alongside Ted King. I mean, this is it doesn't get much more star-studded than this. Pretty cool to see. Michael Day there, Jason Frank, Bjorn coming on through, followed up by Kevin Bouchard Hall and Jason Mount. That is your top 10 in the America's East Division 4A.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that as far as star power in our race. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Congratulations to John Kraft here for our Bs, taking the gold. Louis Tremblay for second, and then defeats. I'm going to leave it. Ninja defeats in third.
He's just the ninja.
The ninja. In finish, maybe. So Ryan Sanderson, fourth. Nathan Picard-Busky for fifth. Chad Pond in sixth. Matthew Boucher in seventh. Marcus Shane in eighth. Alex Price for ninth. And then Bike Parade Pod in 10th. That's your Bs for the men.
CJ Gannon coming on through for BRT in first place for the C's. Mickey Nelson there for second. George Squibb there in third. Chris Sims in fourth. Brenton Mateos in fifth. Jason Keller followed by Marcel Rindisbacher in seventh there. Graham Kirk in eighth. John P coming in for ninth. And Corey Erickson rounding out your top 10 in the America's East Division 4C. I believe there we do not have anything for the D. So that's going to be it for us in the Americas East. Americas West is coming up in just an hour from now. I believe it is a little bit less than an hour from now. So it's going to be myself and Dave. Actually, Kate had to take the night off. Everybody, you'll see her again next week. So more Nathan and Dave coming at you in a little less than an hour for the Americas West. Don't go anywhere. Make sure to hit those follow buttons, subscribe to all of those things if you want more Zwift Community Live content. And if you're looking for more results, head on over to WTRL.racing and you can find all of that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you in just a little bit. America's West, and always right on.
Right on.